The following is a quick reference guide for programming the RD7CTS Mini-Me to a non-OMNTEC ATG controller. This should be performed by an OMNTEC authorized technician. The first part of successful communication is proper wiring connections between the two devices. You should ensure that you have the correct installation, wiring, and programming documents for the non-OMNTEC ATG controller. If your communication connection is RS-232, it is crucial to remember that the cable length must be a maximum of 75 feet. Longer lengths may be used if the communication baud rate is lowered. This is accomplished by trial and error and not recommended by OMNTEC. Most industry standard ATG controllers will require a null adapter, where the TX and RX signal lines are swapped. If your communication connection is utilizing an RS-232 to RS-422 range extender, it is important to know that the wiring between each device is correctly connected, that each device must have a separate power supply, and that a null adapter may be required between the industry standard ATG controller and its associated range extender. If your communication connection is utilizing an RS-232 wireless transmitter, it is important to know that the RS-232 wiring between the transmitter and each device is correctly connected, that each device must have a separate power supply, and that a null adapter may be required between the industry standard ATG controller and its associated wireless transmitter. Line of sight between each transmitter is also important, and the distance is limited to 500 feet. For greater distances, a wireless repeater can be used. If your communication connection is RS-485, it's wired in a similar fashion to the RS-232, but the cable length must not exceed a maximum of 3,000 feet. A null adapter is not required with RS-485. Most industry standard ATG controllers do not offer an RS-485 communication port. Should this be the case with your ATG controller, you can use an RS-232 to RS-485 adapter connected to the ATG controller side of the cable run. If the Mini-Me doesn't find the ATG upon boot up, it should open to the help menu, with a no response being displayed in the upper right corner. Please note, the unit will continuously beep until communication is established. Press the setup button and use the proper login procedure to access the setup menu. Industry standard ATG controllers are required to be pulled to respond with the proper data. For this to occur, the Mini-Me must be set to transmitter mode. If it is in receiver mode, press the unit mode button. Use the select mode button to toggle between receiver and transmitter modes. You must press the save button and you will return to the setup menu. Proper communication settings are required so that the ATG and the Mini-Me match. Press the remote communications settings button. This will direct you to the COM ports settings screen. This screen is used to set the baud rate, data bits, parity, and stop bits. Press the change button for each field to toggle through the industry standard options. You must press the save button, which will return you to the setup menu. If the wiring and ATG settings are correct, the Mini-Me should start responding and turn to a normal status. You must press the save button, which will direct you to the system status menu. From here you can access the ATG's inventory and current alarm, or return to the help menu for other Mini-Me programming features. If problems still exist, you will need to troubleshoot the wiring connections. A laptop can be used to verify the communication paths are functional. Use our quick tip video for RS-232 communications testing. This completes the programming of an RD7CTS Mini-Me when connected to an industry standard ATG controller.